It's time to focus on seniors with Helping Seniors TV. The television show designed to make you aware of senior issues and needs, as well as to acquaint you with the resources available to help you age in place and with dignity. Now, here's your host, Joe Steckler.
I'm Joe Steckler, and welcome to Helping Seniors, the television arm of Helping Seniors of Brevard County. Our show is designed to provide you with information on how to develop your own aging and care plans. Our topic today is computer help for seniors. And joining me is Freebie Bassett, who is the founder of Computers Advancing Education, and Kay Keyser, Information Specialist for Helping Seniors of Brevard. Welcome, Kay.
Thank you.
Welcome, Free.
Thank you.
Before we even get into talk about computers, I want Kay to tell our viewing audience what Helping Seniors does. And the second question is how we differ from other nonprofits, because I think it's important that people understand what you do so you can understand why we got Freebie involved with us.
Absolutely.
So what does Helping Seniors do, Kay?
Helping Seniors is a nonprofit organization. My official title is Information Specialist. I take the calls. I speak to seniors who are looking for resources. And believe me when I say it could vary from 180 degrees. There are so many different needs that seniors are looking for. So my responsibility is to put them in touch with the appropriate resources. But I go farther because I almost consider it more of a case manager type position, because I ask those callers, call me back. Let me know how things worked out for you. Was it successful? And 9 out of 10 times they do, and they thank me. But then I call them back and they don't call me. So it's a constant, perpetual communication with our callers. I have callers that have called me now for maybe 9 months ago, who may keep our number on their refrigerator, because they have maybe another issue that they're looking for a resource.
Yeah. What it amounts to, I think, Kay, is that if people find someone they can talk to, they can trust, or they believe that they're going to try to connect them with the resources they need to solve their problem, they're going to call those people back in the future. Right. And I've had the same thing happen to me over the years. But I think as I start my radio show every time, I say that Helping Seniors is designed to inform, to educate, and to connect. Absolutely. And we do that through the television media, we do it through the radio media, and we do it through the printed media. And this is what sort of sets us apart from other organizations. We find that Brevard County, Florida has many wonderful resources, but if the public is not aware of what is available to help them, then they go for naught. They're not going to be used.
And for the average individual, it's very difficult to navigate the elder system.
Right. So I think that's what makes us really different from other nonprofits. We use all forms of media to advertise what we do, but actually what we do is simply complete the process. We don't compete with other. We don't provide services. We don't. Well, that's not true. We do, because this guy does provide a service.
Absolutely.
And that's what the purpose of the show is today. Once we get to it, we'll get to it first.
Okay.
But
very good, Joe.
I think in talking, Kay, you and I realized that we had a lot of seniors calling us and say, "Oh, I just don't know how to do that," or "I can't learn how to operate a computer." So I think this is where the two of you have to talk and tell our viewing audience how you connected. And I think once that is established, Freebie, then you need to tell our viewing audience what Computers Advancing Education does and how important it is becoming, and it's going to become more important in the lives of seniors.
Yes.
So go ahead, Kay.
Well, actually, I had a source in the office that I asked, and I said, I'm looking for maybe computers. She says, got just the guy for you. So I called Freebie up, and sure enough, and I think within a day or two, you were knocking at her door and say, here's some computers for you, because I felt it's important in talking to people that I get. There, they were going to the library. They had no knowledge of a computer, but they were being bounced off of that computer after an hour.
Yep.
So they really couldn't dedicate, enough time to really understand how to properly work a computer.
Yep.
So then Freebie was kind enough to not only give us the computers, he gave us Tony Zalisco as a volunteer who comes in every week and teaches the class. So I think it's more important to tell them all about what you do.
Well, where do you get this computer from, Freebie? I think that's important. And why you started it?
Well, I started it because I thought there was a need. There's a lot of people, I don't care what age you are, from young children to seniors, and seniors are an untapped resource in this world that we live in. And I think that we need to realize that, they have some of the best knowledge bases. They have some of the best ethics as far as, showing up to work and stuff like that. And I thought this would be great. And then the resource of education, we need to educate our people. And I'm not saying everybody's got to go to college. Some people can go to tech schools. Some people will go to college. Some people will go to 1 or 2 courses or go to a machinist class or something like that. But they need to have the resources. And a lot of them don't go because I can't get a computer. I don't have the money to get the computer. Well, my program was set up to make them available. We get our computers from major companies and minor companies and private individuals in the county. Companies like Boeing and Harris and AAR Airlift Group and Artemis, and then people that just want to get rid of a computer, they walk in and they donate them to us.
When did you start? When did you start this Computers Advancing Education? When did you start it, Freebie?
The actual program started in 1997 after I had a heart attack and quadruple bypass surgery. And both my sons came to me during the recovery and said, "Dad, you're bored. We need to teach you something." I was a user. I would tell you the truth. I was a user. And the next thing you know, we're building a computer for a young man whose father was in Egypt at the time. Now, this is going back quite a few years. We built him a 386-25. That's ancient. But we gave it to him at Christmas time, and the idea was to build it for free. People donated stuff to us. The next thing you know, teachers were asking me in the Brevard County school system, because my lovely wife, Linda, was working in the school system at the time as a health tech. And the next thing you know, they were finding out that, can we get a computer? Can we get a computer? So the next thing you know, we're building computers for Brevard County schools. Then somehow NASA, I worked at Kennedy at the time, NASA found out about me and said, we want you to be engaged, and we want to be engaged with you. The next thing you know, the Astronaut Memorial Foundation is engaged with me, and we're going down a path to not only get computers, but find the resources and the people to make this happen. Kay came to me for seniors, and I thought it was great. Like I said, I think, and I still believe, that seniors are an untapped resource in this country. I was on an airplane many years back, and the CEO of, I believe it was Lockheed or Grumman, one of them, was sitting beside me. We were talking, and we were talking about my program, and he said, "Really? Well, what do you do?" I said, "Well, we train, we teach. We do how to use a computer, how to rebuild a computer. I call it my womb to tomb training. It's 12 weeks long. We're teaching now, if you've got a problem with your computer, how to fix it. So, you don't have to go to some place and spend a lot of money to get your computer fixed. I have a young lady, and I'll call her a young lady. She's 82 years old. She used to teach at St. Mary's.
I'm 81, so
okay.
She's young.
She's young. But Claire is just so dynamic, and she lives at a senior place up here, and they all come to her to get her to fix their computers and what have you.
So the myth that seniors can't learn, don't need to learn, or it's not necessary for them to learn, it's really a myth. You shot that thing full of holes.
Yeah.
But and we did a radio show. You said to me that you got 52 pallets of
computers. I was working for a company called, and I hope I can say this.
You say anything you want.
But company his name was USBI. They made the solid rocket boosters out of Kennedy at the time, Pratt Whitney Company. And they were redoing their computer systems. And they said, hey, you do computers. I said, yeah. And how'd you like to have them? I said, oh, yeah, that'd be great. The next thing you know, I'm getting 52 pallets of computers.
And a pallet.
I had 20 computers on a pallet.
How many?
20 computers on a pallet.
20 computers on a pallet? You had 52 pallets.
I had 52 pallets.
What did you say to yourself, what in the world am I going to do with all this stuff?
Well, luckily the Astronaut Memorial Foundation stepped up and said, oh, well, we can give you a room. Thank God it was a big room. And I got 15 volunteers at that time. Right now we have 40 volunteers.
But you still in the same room?
No, we've moved. We work... thanks to the Brevard County school system. Like I said, we partner with so many people.
Oh, okay. All right.
Excuse me. The Brevard County school system allows us to work out of an old school up in Titusville. My team comes together. No one gets paid for any of this, Joe. We're a purely 501c nonprofit. And they come up every Tuesday. We work for 6-7 hours. We do pickups like we picked up from Boeing yesterday. These people volunteer their time, their money, their resources, trucks, cars, and they help me or help us get all of this stuff. And then we deliver. We're working with the Brevard County school system now to put learning labs in all the elementary schools in Brevard County. Tom Fitzgerald, who's my connection with Brevard County school systems, him and I are working hand in hand with the resources.
So you furnish the computers?
We furnish the computers. We'll even go set them up for the schools. But like Kay wanted something to happen here for seniors, and I felt very, very pleased to do this. If she had had a bigger room, I would have given her more computers.
We'll get a bigger room.
Okay, but that myth that seniors don't know how to do anything or don't know how to learn, that's, pardon my saying, baloney. Seniors are a great resource, and I firmly believe that any company that is looking for somebody with integrity, knowledge, good knowledge and what have you, seniors are a resource to pull from.
I want to take just a break, and I want to offer you, our viewing audience, the same thing I offered our radio audience, our listening audience. And I said to Tony, I asked him a question about, do you have a need to buy things? And he said, yes. And that's probably one of the hardest. They don't go out and raise a lot of money. They don't do fundraising. But folks, all of us that see 44.6% of our money go for taxes for educating children, here's a guy that's doing something free. So I made an offer on radio, and I'll make the same thing to my viewing audience today, that if you want to contribute to Computers Advancing Education, if you want to send that to helping seniors because you don't know how to get it anyplace else, you send it to us and say you wanted to go to Computers Advancing Education. I give you my word, every donation will go to them so they can help buy parts that they can't find to get donated. Right. And there are things that happen. So here's a chance to help a wonderful program that's helping people. And I know from feedback I've gotten, Freebie, from people that have taken a class here at the Space Coast Center for Independent Living. They're taught by Tony, and when Tony's not there, Kay teaches the class. Right. I know that these people have a new sense of importance. What you've helped them do is open up that internet to education, to travel, and one of the things that we have found with helping seniors, that as a person gets older, they get lonely. Right. And they sit alone. A lot of them are single, they've lost a spouse, and they're by themselves. But if they have a computer, if they know how just to simply navigate that computer a little bit, and you even give them a piece of paper, if they forget how to do it, the paper reminds them what to do. And you don't even have to be a speed typist. I'm not a speed typist. Nope. I use my two fingers a lot, and I do a lot of writing with two fingers, folks.
Joe, don't feel bad. I do it too.
You do the same thing? Okay, all right. So I you know what? Does it make you feel self-conscious if somebody's standing over your shoulder watching you type?
Nah, I've gone past that.
It bothers me.
Yeah,
My wife is
I've
a
gone
much
past
better
that.
typer than me.
Yeah, well,
and
yeah.
I can't do that well.
Well, we set up learning labs at Asbury Arms, which is a senior place,
Right.
and Trinity Towers down in Melbourne and what have you. We set them there too.
You have one down in Trinity Towers?
Yes, sir. Now we haven't supported them in a while because they didn't need support and what have you. I mean, we've in the 11 years we've been a nonprofit, we've given away 30,000 computers.
I thought that was an amazing statistic.
If you look, and my resource manager said, if you look at the pieces parts, a keyboard, a mouse, it's like 125,000 pieces parts, and I'm going, okay.
Wait. You have all these parts cataloged and all that stuff?
We're trying to get everything, put into an inventory system.
Okay.
I'm a supply chain person.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So I have a background in that. So we're trying to get everything put into a supply chain, an inventory system that's usable and what have you. So we know what's happening and what have you. Like I said, I have some of the greatest people in the world. I don't know how I could never have gone out and picked those people. They just come to us.
Do you get a lot of laptops donated too?
We used to get a lot when Odin was out at the Kennedy Space Center. We'd get bunches of laptops, and then their contract went away. Now we get very few. The ones we get, if we get 10 of them, we wind up being able to put 5 of them together, and and then we can give those out. Like I said, we give these away free. We give away hardware. We teach training, classes. The only way we make any money is by disassembling old junk hardware and then recycling. Less than 0.5% goes in the trash. The rest of it gets recycled. In fact, I think we found somebody. I'm looking for somebody who will buy or I'll give it to them, the plastic that comes off a computer. I'll give them that. So less than 0.5%. We're economic, or not economic, ecology.
I don't want to get too much on the nuts and bolts.
Yeah,
that's a pretty given. But I think one of the important things that the viewing audience needs to take away from the show today, Freebie, is the way Computers Advancing Education has empowered seniors to become involved again in the think market.
Right. They do. And I'll use Claire as my point of contact. Claire was a teacher, and then she stopped teaching, and she comes to the lab, and she has learned. So now she's teaching people not only how to use a computer, but how to troubleshoot it, how to fix it, where to go. I mean, there are some great things on the network. There's some bad things too. I'll admit that.
Yeah.
But there are some great things. YouTube, Twitter, you name it. I stay up sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning looking on YouTube to figure out how to do something and stay in contact. My son right now is in Massachusetts working for a company up there. And so I contact him, and we're able to email back and forth. Facebook, I stay in contact with so many friends that I worked with back at Kennedy for years.
Well, I think for me, one of the things that we don't focus enough on in the senior world is that there's so much help, assistance, information out there if we know how to access it.
That's it.
And I think one of the wonderful things about Computers Advancing Education is that you have now become part of our provider network. And by virtue of the fact that you are now doing this TV show, you've been on the radio show, we'll have columns from you in our newsletter. You were helping us inform other citizens of what's available to we have 22% of 545,000 people in Brevard County are over the age of 65.
Wow.
I'm
one of them.
I know. Well, yeah, but because we are getting older doesn't mean that our brain doesn't have to think and doesn't function.
Thank you.
It does.
It does.
And what your network is going to help us do as part of helping seniors, it's going to help us broaden the education market for seniors, thereby empowering them to become more involved, less lonely, and contributing members of society. Does that make a lot of sense?
Yes, it does. And there are so many people that have dementia or Alzheimer's out there, and what's happened to them is they have stopped the ability to learn. And when you stop that ability to do something and think and learn, then yeah, you're going to go down that path. You may not get into it full blown and what have you. Yeah. I'm going to use an example, and I hope this is okay. My wife had a blood clot, and the doctors, she went to the hospital, and the doctors there put her on the new drugs right away, because that's the new stuff. And she had a blood clot years back, and they put her on the old Coumadin, Warfarin, okay? So I said, I see so much on TV. Let me go onto the network and find out the pros and cons of this medical marvel. And I took them and I married them up, the two of them, the Warfarin and the Xarelto, and the pros and cons and what have you. And like I said, I'm 68 years old, Joe. And I was able to figure out, Xarelto's not the best, not the one thing that's supposed to be the cure-all. The Warfarin may be a little bit more taxing, may take more of your time, but it was safer. And I care about my wife, and I want to make sure that she's okay. And I use this as an example because seniors can do any senior with a computer can do the same thing.
Yeah. What you're doing is opening up something new for seniors, and you are stopping seniors from saying, I can't.
Exactly.
And I think that's extremely important for us to understand that helping seniors, working in conjunction with Computers Advancing Education, we can open up new horizons. We can eliminate some of this loneliness, and we can make seniors a more productive part of our society. And Kay, you brought that out when you used an example on a radio show about encyclopedias.
Absolutely. Who doesn't remember growing up, when you're doing a report or you're looking for an answer for a subject, and you pull out the encyclopedia? Well, today, and I teach the class, and I ask them, what is it that you would like to learn today? What's on your subject matter? Today, they can go to the internet and basically get all of those books and more just by typing in a search engine. Right, Freebie?
Oh, gosh, yes. I mean, I remember the encyclopedias because I'm old enough to remember them. And the internet is encyclopedias on steroids. I mean, it's monstrous. Yeah, there are some bad things, but the preponderance of items on there are just tremendous. And you can learn and you can stay active. You can keep your mind challenged with the internet. If you don't have a computer, you're going to sit in this lonely room and you maybe get a phone call from your family or something like that. Yeah. With a computer, you can go out and find information. You can contact people. You can go to the different websites and what have you.
I think it's important for us to remember that with the increased cost of care, I think that many of us, as we get older, we tend to place our trust solely in the hands of the medical practitioner, and we depend on them for knowing, diagnosing, and trying to figure out what's wrong with us. Sometimes I think we fail to use our own mind to say that, doctor, I feel this, or doctor, I think that. And I know myself, and my wife does it more than I do, but she goes on the internet and she tries to look up the medical condition and says, Joe, do you have this problem, or do you have that? What it does, it helps arm me with information that I can ask my doctor, why am I having this symptom? Or what might be causing? And I can see that causes my primary care doctor of 25 years to pay more attention to what I'm saying. And all I'm saying is, Freebie and Kay, is that seniors need to think more about how they can profit from using the computers provided by Computers Advancing Education, because that's what your title means.
That's right. I mean, who's responsible for you? Yourself. You need to know, how you feel. You need to know what's happening, and you need to express that. And, I go to the doctor just like anybody else. but they're practicing medicine.
Right.
So,
Right.
but if you can gather the information, oh, I've got this pain, or I've got this, or this is happening to me, or this drug versus another drug is there. You can balance that information. Then, like you said, of 25 years, you can go to that doctor and say, well, I don't necessarily want to take that because my body is telling me that I shouldn't or something.
But it all goes back to this. How do we make this stuff available? You started this many years ago by demonstrating that you could do something. By demonstrating what you could do, it caused more companies to say, if he can do that, I can do this to help him. And that's what the whole care system should be. We should think about this more. Instead of complaining that it can't happen, we need to think more about how can we make it happen, or how can we help cause it to happen.
And I do want to say the computer classes are absolutely free here.
Right.
Yeah. If somebody wants to sign up for a computer class, what do they do, Kay?
All they do is call me at our telephone number, 473-7770.
Okay. Freebie, this show has been about computers. You got a few seconds. What would you like to say to our viewing audience about how you feel they might get involved with you?
Well, my program is always looking for a lot of things.
All right.
One of them is financial. One of them is, volunteers. And the other is, the ability to go forward and help people. If I can make something positive for somebody out there, then that's what it's all about. And like I said, we've done this all with no money.
It's free.
Free.
Make the phone call.
Make the phone call.
Kay, Freebie, I want to thank you very much for being here today because it was a great show. People need to know more about computers. And I want to thank you, audience, for listening to the show today.